It's a good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the pre-match presser for the game between Zimbabwe and Scotland tomorrow on Tuesday. For Zimbabwe, we have Sean Williams, and he's ready to take your questions.
Sean, if at the start of the tournament I'd offered you one game against Scotland to qualify for the World Cup, would you have taken it?
100%. I think at the moment it doesn't really matter who we play against. The quality of cricket that we've seen throughout this qualifier from every single team has been phenomenal. I think these teams have come a long way, and they've got some seriously good players. And Scotland have got good players as well, and they've got some individual players that can take a game away from you by themselves. But we've been here before, where we've been in a must-win encounter, and we've played against them quite a lot of late as well, which is probably a good thing for us.
You mentioned you've been here before. I guess the talk always drifts back to 2018. How much has that been spoken of within the group?
Look, it doesn't really get spoken about too much, to be honest with you. I think at the moment, staying positive and concentrating on our pattern of play and our the way we want to play is our main concern at the moment. And if we continue to do that, I think that everything will fall into place.
What went wrong yesterday, and how can you put that right against Scotland?
Obviously, losing those wickets up front, so it's always difficult to come back when you lose 3 in the first 3 overs. I think, when you lose 3 in the first 15, it's very different. And also playing those spinners, they're a different quality spin attack. With respect to every other team in this qualifier, those guys, they play in the IPLs. They've got experience behind them. They've got subtle variations, the speed that they bowl at. It's not exactly like, there's a leg spinner and there's a googly. It's not like that. Those guys are seriously a league above. I just felt that we learnt lessons from yesterday rather than walking away with our heads down. I think, being able to learn something from a game like that is huge leading into a game against Scotland.
Is the toss going to be absolutely vital? We've seen here in Bulawayo that the ball has moved around in the first 10 overs. Obviously, with Madhu Shankar yesterday, he was able to take advantage of that. We've seen Scotland with Brandon McMullen and Chris Sowell also exploit those conditions first up. Is the toss going to be absolutely crucial? Is it win the toss, win the match?
I don't think so. I think it's an attitude that you take into the game. We have no control over the toss whatsoever. So win the toss, lose the toss, your attitude needs to remain positive. And you're always going to be faced with different obstacles every single day, just in daily life in general. So, getting over those obstacles and those little hurdles as a group is key for us. I think, we know what we can set batting first year. We've done it already. So I feel the toss doesn't really matter.
What about the pitch, Sean? You probably know it better than almost everybody here at Bulawayo. We've seen 2 types of pitches here at Queen's. We've seen a pitch which has caused scraps, if you like, and we've also seen pitches, a little like yesterday, I guess, that really flatten out into good batting pitches. What are the expectations for tomorrow?
I think tomorrow's wicket could be flat as well. That's my personal opinion. This wicket generally is you've got to work hard to get your runs in, particularly up front. Time is not really the issue there. I think it's just the matter of getting through a couple of overs, still remaining positive, running hard between the wickets, and keeping your head in those times where you think you can play a shot, but it's probably better not to and just stay there. I think you've seen with a lot of guys that have scored hundreds here, they've actually started off quite slowly and then managed to catch up as it goes. So the wicket improves definitely, but with regards to tomorrow, I do feel like it'll be a good batting wicket.
What about pressure? Obviously, it's a must-win game for both teams tomorrow. How do you make sure that you deal with that pressure and it doesn't overwhelm you?
Well, we've always kind of said this one guy always told me, one coach of mine always told me, it's precious. Pressure you can't see nor touch. It's just something you can feel, so you can control that. I feel like, whoever remains calmest in a situation like this will turn out the winner. And obviously both teams want to land the first blow. But again, once you land that first blow, you've got to be able to land another one and another one after that. So It's going to be a good, hard-fought contest tomorrow.
Now, I know this is probably beyond your pay grade, but we saw Tendai Chitara having a bowl out there in the middle. He didn't play yesterday. Was that a fitness issue, or is he in contention for tomorrow?
I'm sure he's in contention for tomorrow. He's fully fit, as far as I know. He's a heck of a bowler. He's a heck of a bloke as well, and he's got big match temperament, and that's something that may come into play. I'm not part of the selection panel at by any means, but yeah, I back Tendai Chitara big time.
Sean, in the first 3 matches you played, the first 4 matches you played in area, we saw some heavy batting, tons of runs. You come to Bulawayo, slightly different. Is there anything to do with the track? What's happening with the team? Do we expect better batting tomorrow? Do we expect better numbers tomorrow?
Yeah, look, I think obviously the national side hasn't played much cricket in Bulawayo of late. I actually can't remember. I think the last time was a test match. It's very different to ODIs that. So I think not having played here as a national team for so long, bar myself and maybe Luke Jongwe, we have the advantage of that. I think is obviously on the negative side of things, but the wickets in Harare were phenomenal. I think that, once you can take advantage of that power play in Harare and you can push that score, guys were getting close to 210 after 25 overs, 20 overs even. I mean, when you're scoring like that, it's really hard as a defending team or the team batting second to come and chase that down. The chance of losing wickets in the first 10 are very high in a situation like that. Look, I do expect a better turnout tomorrow from the team. I think that the crowd yesterday was phenomenal. I think, that an attitude from the players will be needed to back that up as well, because the crowd, they turned out yesterday, and I think having them behind us, singing, just them singing after the game was done yesterday, for me was huge. Sitting in the change room, I was listening and thinking, geez, these guys, win or lose, these guys are behind us. So having that 12th man, may I call it that, is big for us tomorrow. I think that is going to be also a deciding factor when you walk out into the bull ring and you've got the crowd all in red. I think, it's a lot of pressure, look, on both teams, but, probably more so on one.
Scotland played the group games here, the group matches in Bulawayo. Is the squad, are the Chevrons thinking about how much more Scotland have had time at Queen's against the time you've had here?
Not at all. I think, like I said, tomorrow's a different day, different hurdles and different obstacles that each and every individual will have to face, and that doesn't excuse anybody. I think, how you wake up in the morning and have an attitude towards that day is going to be key.
We see we had a low-scoring match yesterday. We didn't score that many in the first game either. But also, how much of an impact has the track had on our bowling?
Yeah, I think it's obviously difficult coming in and defending a low total. If you don't strike early up front with a low total on the board, and particularly on a wicket like Queen's, it does flatten out in the afternoon. There's no denying that. But it also, at the same time, the opposition's still got to score those runs. So I feel, like I say, the attitude that we have behind defending a total like that or defending a big total should never change.
Sean, just looking at your personal performance in this tournament, you've got tons of runs that are under your belt, and then coming into this crucial game, what role are you playing in the team? You more seem like you're the enforcer or the guy that gets them going after the start that Joylord and Craig give you and set up a platform for you. Do you feel any pressure that you also need to up it up a little more bit? And how has it been through this whole tournament?
It's been good throughout this whole tournament. It's definitely mentally challenging. But, to keep yourself in that zone, you certain sacrifices have to come. And like you, I'm glad that you brought up Joylord and Craig. I think the two of them have gone, under the radar there. I think they have definitely set us a platform to be able to go at the spinners. And obviously having to come in and face the spinners up front in Harare on that deck where it's not spinning with that extra fielder in the ring, it opens up a lot of gaps. And being able to hit the ball in the gap and get 2 or 4 and running between the wickets hard after you've had a really good start in the first 10 really puts pressure on the opposition. But, you know, individual runs, they come and they go, and you have to take advantage of a purple patch. And in a situation like tomorrow, you know, tomorrow is still not here yet. So, you know, I could say something today and feel something very different tomorrow. So I just feel that nothing changes. Preparations stay the same, routines stay the same, and tomorrow we wake up and we go again.
And then you spoke about the 12th man, which the coach Dave said is the 13th man, since you always left 12th. How has it been for the team? Because they have been consistent with you through from the start right till now. And you spoke about how they stayed on even after the game, knowing that we have lost, but they cheered you guys on to say the job is, look, the battle is not lost. We may have lost the fight, but the war is still on, and we can still go on tomorrow. How does that feel personally for you, for being a person from the city and from the team as a whole?
It gives me goosebumps, to be honest with you. I think that, you know, it's brought a lot of people together. I think that's probably the most touching thing, is bringing people together, and you know, whether they're struggling or not struggling, just having people to give them something to smile about is huge for me. I've had multiple messages where people are actually saying, thank you, you know, we're happy, and you're giving us something to smile about. And then the other thing is the children that you see on the side of the field. That's probably, you know, one of the biggest things. I remember being a little child here at Queen's, walking around. Dave Houghton was playing, Heath Streak, Henry Longa, Andy Flower, and I remember going, geez, I want to be like these guys one day. And I'm finally standing in that position where those little boys are now looking at us, and that's one step closer to leaving the Zimbabwe shirt in a better place.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.